Welcome to this meeting of the Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee for the Town of Yarmouth, which is being held in accordance with Chapter 470 of the Acts of 1973 as amended at 7:15 on Monday, October 24, 2022 at the Yarmouth Town Hall Hearing Room located at 1146 Route 28, South Yarmouth. Moreover, pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 1921, Chapter 2A, considering certain COVID-19 measures, this meeting is being run in a hybrid mode. There are 5 new applications for certificates of appropriateness and 2 tabled applications also for a certificate of appropriateness that will be heard this evening in the order listed on the agenda. Please be reminded that our committee's main purpose is to review items for appropriateness and setting. It is the responsibility of the applicant to comply with the regulations of other town boards and departments, including building, conservation, engineering, health, zoning, and the sign inspector. You should also know that there is a 10 calendar day appeal period starting once a decision is filed with the town clerk. Any person aggrieved by our decision tonight can appeal to the Regional Commission of the Old Kings Highway. Our office administrator will be happy to answer any questions you may have with respect to that process. So we'll begin with the first item on the agenda is an addition to the rear of the house at 10 Thrush Trail. Kathy and Mike Ahern are the owners, and Mazzio Construction is the agent. And gentleman from Mazzio is here.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm Mike Ahern. I'm one of the owners.
Right, Mike. Good.
How are you?
Good. Your name for the record?
My name is Alex Mazzio.
Okay.
I'm the owner of the Mazzio Construction.
Mhm.
So we're proposing addition in the back rear end of the house. Size is 16 feet by 15, and it will be dining area mostly. The reason of it is because of small kitchen space and living dining room area right now at the house.
Yeah.
The only visible part of the addition to the street will be approximately 5.5 to 6 feet of the entrance. It's the elevation is shown on page A4, front elevation.
It's at the back of the
It's the back.
house, though.
Picture, I can show you the picture exactly.
So
where
photographs there.
It will be barely visible. The driveway is really stiff, so it's really, you can't see anything from the street.
Right.
When you walk up, you can see. So I can show you. And that's where the addition will be.
It'll be sticking out. Yeah, behind the.
Yeah, they're part of the application.
We have these pictures. Thank you.
Inspection.
On the left side elevation, the two sets of of windows are the same. It's just the column that obscures the one. Is that right?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Those windows are existing, right? The holidays, or no?
Yes, the one on the column is exists. It's gonna be replaced.
But the windows behind the column, are those exist, sorry, those existing now?
Yeah, there's a box window in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
existing. That's
That's existing.
they're
And then
behind the
dining
column.
room will have another box window to match.
So the staircase going up to the new dining room is going to be a new staircase, right?
Right, there's one there now. It goes to the deck and the new one will go to a door.
So the deck goes away.
Yes.
Right.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Good. Looks like all the materials will blend in, similar to existing. Good.
Nice little cul-de-sac you live in. I move to approve the application.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
One thing, if you come up for a second. This is a statement, just says that you have to sign it, that you will build it according to the plan. If you make any changes, let us know in advance.
That's happened.
24.
23rd, 24th.
I know.
Thank you.
Good luck with it.
Good luck.
The next item is concerned with installing 24 solar panels on the rear roof of the house at 99 Setauket Road. Paul Tucker is the owner and Sunrun Installation Services is the agent. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
You are Paul?
I am Paul Tucker.
So these panels will not at all be visible.
No, you can't see him.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 That was easy.
That was easy. Thank you.
This is Greta from Sunrun as well on the phone.
Hi, Greta.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Good. Good. I just wanted, for the one that is being tabled at I think 26 Stone Hill, I wanted to take that off. We're going to withdraw that later.
You want to do, I'm sorry, say again?
We're going to withdraw that application for 26 Stony Hill.
Okay.
But happy this one approved. Thank you.
Sir, if you come up.
Yep.
Your signature just says that you'll do it the way you have planned.
Oh.
If you can make any changes, let us know in advance.
Absolutely.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yes,
Welcome.
How are you?
It's a nice house.
Good night.
Night.
Cindy? Yeah, football games every Monday.
That's what it is, isn't it?
And the Celtics game too. So
Doing well. Okay. The next item, is again concerned with solar panels, 25 solar panels on the side and rear roof at 39 Mariners Lane. Patricia Mikulinski is the owner and Beacon Solar is the agent. And you are Patricia, I take it? Welcome.
I believe Greta is here for me too.
So is it Sunrun or Beacon? I'm confused.
Beacon is our build partner, so they're building the project for Sunrun.
Thank you. I went by there today in both areas they want to put them, looked like they were very minimally visible from the street.
Great.
Right, very minimal. And one
There
side,
are no abutters
Are
present.
there any butters or on the phone? Or on the-
they're aware of it.
Yeah.
You probably talked to them.
Yeah, they're all excited.
Good.
I'll move to approve.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
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 I thank you. Good. And if you would. Top line. So if you can make any changes, just let us know.
Good luck.
Welcome. So funny how you sign a different line every time.
Keep you on your toes. The next item is concerned with installing dormers on the second floor, front and rear, and changing many windows and doors, and relocating the main entry door at 97 Pheasant Cove Circle. The owner is Nora Labori, and Catalyst Architects is the agent, and
I
you are
am
here this
Tim
evening.
Sawyer, Catalyst Architects. So we were actually in front of you back in March, I believe it was, with this
Right.
project originally.
Right.
And over the course of the summer, as we've been developing the documents, we did end up making some relatively minor, in our opinion, modifications to it. So we're back in front of you today to get the project reapproved, hopefully, with the modifications.
For the committees, get you up to date. There were some modifications that came in a couple of months after we had approved it initially. And they weren't very much different. And so I approved them as a minor change. And then the latest changes came in, and I thought that they're more extensive and that we should look at them as a team here and not just go on my single opinion. So that's why we're here tonight. And the major problems I had was it's sort of a modernization, if you will, of the windows and doors. Whereas the existing house, you know, is the old variety of 6/12 windows, et cetera. More conventional that was built when it was built. And the changes have tended to modernize it. The other problem which I had, which may not, you might say, fit into our practice, is that if you do a heat transfer study of this house, by increasing all these windows on the north-facing wall, it just makes for a lot of heat loss. And the question always is, well, why? Why do you need all that glass area? And I'm not sure, because I'm in the rooms upstairs, but they possibly are all bedrooms that are empty most of the time. And so I can't understand why you need so many windows of that size particularly.
Is that view out to the marsh, that north facade?
Correct. The reason for the windows, obviously, it's looking out over the marsh. And in the original concept, the windows, the sill, due to the way the dormer worked on the roof, the sill was a little higher. And what we realized was when you're sitting in the second floor, you didn't really have a sight line out to the marsh. You're looking more at the sky. So one of the modifications on the rear elevation was to drop the bottom of the windows down a little bit more. So they became a little bit taller, basically. And touching on the heat loss aspect of it, this house will be far superior when we're done with it than it is currently. I would probably guess that the insulation in these walls is maybe R11, maybe R13, but I doubt it. We're going to have spray foam insulation. The windows are going to be far superior energy-wise than what's there currently. So I have zero concern about the energy efficiency of the proposed design versus what's there today.
So Tim, I'm looking at the, the difference in the roof. So it's still a dormer, really?
Yeah, the dormers are the same.
Roof, I'm looking at what was approved. It's hard to pick this up and show you, but what shows that what was approved at the March 14th hearing.
Correct.
And it looks like the dormer goes to the end of the ridge now on both sides versus what was.
Just on one side. So that was the one area that for me was the biggest deviation. Typically, we like to hold dormers back from the gable end,
Okay.
just as a matter of course. In this particular case, through much discussion with the client, and this has been a family home for many years. So they're looking at it a little bit more from a nostalgic standpoint, growing up there and thinking about the way they've always lived in the house. And there's this a view of Chapin that they capture when they're looking north out of that gable. And there really weren't any other opportunities to really get any kind of view out of that. So
Is that's the windmill end side or the other
yes,
side?
that's the rear dormer on the windmill side. And you can see it on sheet A 2.2.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
I've got it in two views. One where the windmill is kind of obscuring it the way you'd see it in reality. But then a section through that connector so you see what that elevation really looks like. Minimally visible from the street. Most of the modifications that are from between the original approved and this are relegated to the rear elevation and then this side elevation that we were just talking about.
Are there any changes to the front dormer from what was approved before?
The only changes to the front were the dormer windows on the second floor were changed from double hungs to a little bit more of a cottagey look casement with the grills.
I'm trying to find the new front one.
Far right, because you're talking about the casement windows on the far right as you're facing the house.
Yeah, so
On 2.1.
in the original, I just had it on the far right. Now I've got them across the entire front dormer, the windows, same windows, basically.
So all the dormers in the front are now casement windows?
Correct. And probably the best way to look at it is on this sheet with the
Oh,
3D drawings.
okay.
That gives you a good view of what that elevation looks like now.
I see. Okay, cool.
I felt it on the front elevation in particular, it kept it in a little bit more in the cottage kind of feel versus double hung windows
The
up on that
previous one
second
was
floor.
242, and this is now 131.
It's the same number of windows on the second floor on the roadside. It's just they're all casements now.
So focusing on the two observations that the chairman made, the one that interests me more, and I think is the one that really is within our purview, is how you've changed the division of the lights on the front. And we're now looking at 6/6 on the lower story, whereas before there was harmony between the dormer windows and the front, the lower story windows. Why did you decide to go 6/6 on the lower story?
The client actually liked the 6/6 look a little bit better in the double hung windows, and that's actually what's there now. 6/6, it's what exists. So they wanted to keep the grid kind of look on the first floor on the street side. And then, as I was mentioning, on the second floor, I wanted the windows to be a little bit smaller and a little bit more on the casement look rather than the double hung.
So the glass size dormer as compared to ground floor, are the
They're smaller.
lights, they're smaller on the dormer?
Yes.
See, there's your comment, you're saying that it has a more cottagey look to switch from double hung to casement. I disagree with that. There are millions of houses on Cape Cod that have double hung windows. And they started that way back in 1850. And when the cottages were built in the 50s and 60s and 70s, they still had 6/6 or 12/12, 9/6s, and not many casement windows. I, for one, had casement windows in the house I built in 1974. But you can't see the house. It's surrounded by woods. And so, and they all had grills in the windows. But I found a problem with that because my wife would open the casement window and a gust of wind would come and zap, slam it against the window, which would break the seal on the double glass. So more careful about where I put casement windows nowadays, and certainly not where somebody's going to walk by, like on a deck. So when we get requests like that, not necessarily here, but when there's definitely a problem, if somebody's sitting on the deck and the wind comes and swings it, you get hit in the back of the head with a flying window. So this house, as I say, was more conventional before. It had mostly double hung windows. And the changeover to practically all casement windows, I think, is not in keeping with it.
How would you feel about awning windows instead of casement windows?
Well, awning windows, I use awning windows too. Typically in places where you want to leave them open all the time, like in bathrooms. So, you know, leave them open a little bit. If it rains, it doesn't come in.
Lift up this way.
Yeah, I think windows that would
These are
hinge at the
awning
top
windows.
make a lot of sense.
These are
Um,
awning windows here.
I personally do like awning windows a little bit better from the practical standpoint of when it rains, they don't have to be closed. A casement window, you're more susceptible to get water damage on the window when it rains. In this particular case, and I did have that discussion with the client, I believe, if I remember correctly, they were a little on the fence, but I think they were erring on the side of being able to get more air circulation through the house. And with an awning window, you don't get the same kind of air circulation as you do with a casement. The other thing that we're challenged with is with a casement, you get a larger clear opening. So when you're talking about a second floor egress from a bedroom, you're required by code to have a certain opening for a firefighter to get in with apparatus on. And you can do that with a smaller window in a casement versus the same opening size in a double hung, or in particular an awning, because the awnings don't
Awning
open
wouldn't
as-
satisfy code, you're saying?
No, because they only open a certain distance, where a casement will literally go 90 degrees. But an awning only goes out so far and doesn't give you the clear opening. And even a double hung, we would have to make a larger actual window unit.
Don't
than
they
what
make
we're
awnings
showing.
that hinge in the middle so you can get a horizontal opening and you'd have the same, you would be safe from code violation issues, and you'd also have the same air passage as you would from a casement window?
Sometimes they make them such that you can wash the top side and the bottom side.
Yeah, those are the tilt double hung windows. But the type of window you were just describing is probably in the traditional stuff that we use, especially here in New England. There's nothing like that. You would have to get into a commercial type window or European style window to be able to get an awning that does 90 degrees as normal operation.
So would these casement windows all be hinging on the same side?
No,
It all depends on their grouping and where they're at. So if there's a grouping of 3, the 2 outside would hinge out like this, and the center would either be fixed or it would hinge in one way or the other.
You could they'd be satisfied with the center one being fixed?
Yeah, actually,
Actually, if you look at the elevation on the front where the three are together, the center one is fixed. So that you don't have that odd juxtaposition.
On
So,
both stories.
so when you have three, the two outside ones move opposed to each other, and then the center one is fixed.
the other beauty is that you don't have the screen there.
And-
Triple casement windows
Right.
over sinks all the time. And I have a big triple casement window in my master bedroom, which overlooks a Japanese garden. And so looking through that center fixed window is good. I take pictures through it. So one fix and two.
Wonderful house. I like the windmill a lot. What is the inside of the windmill?
The inside of the windmill is built like a timber frame. So it's all exposed structure. The rest of the house isn't, but the windmill, it's got a nice character to it on the inside.
What do they use it for? Like a party room or something?
I don't know, kind of a bunk room for kids at one point. I'm not exactly sure how they plan to use it right now, but they do want to use it maybe as a kid's bedroom or just a playroom. It's got 2 floors to it, but they're relatively small, so there's not a whole lot of stuff you can do with it, but it does add a nice character to the area that most people are familiar with.
Well, obviously, a lot of thought has gone into this, and I think the overall visual impact from the street is quite nice. I move to approve the application.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's gonna look, I think it's gonna look much nicer. So is the floor plan, is the floor space, the usable space in the second story going to be enlarged with these dormers? Because there's no head space up there.
Window head heights were very low, and there was nothing on the front. And after the air circulation, they were getting no air circulation for the second floor because you only had windows on one side.
They have air conditioning in the house?
Thanks for coming in.
You too.
The next item is concerned with changing an existing sign to reflect a new business at 11 Willow Street. This is just picked and done, and Sons. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I always call the place Just Picked.
Yep, Just Pick Gifts.
It's not it's picked and done and
That's the
Sons.
new business.
So
That's the new business.
so we've gone through the process of permitting and allowing Dunn and Sons to open up a wine shop in the barn, in the barn building.
Right.
So they would like to have signage on 6A and Willow Street,
Right.
also a sign on their building. And at the same time, I'll update my signage as well.
Right, good. Okay. Yeah, I haven't been in Just Picked in a while.
Why not?
Do some
Support local
browsing.
business. What are we doing here, big guy?
I used to go in and browse around.
You can buy stuff, I'm Greg, yeah. You can buy stuff too, you don't have to just browse, bring your wallet.
Excited about the,
Buy a cup of
we're
coffee,
excited
too,
about the
down the
wine store.
street.
Now that you have the wine store there,
You can trip over some of the signs that they put up on the,
now that you
on
have the
6A
wine store
too.
there will be more, there more
I didn't wanna
often.
bring it up, but I couldn't resist.
Now that you have the wine store, we'll go more often.
Come on by. We're gonna change up the assortment too, so it'll be home entertaining and a little more like that. So it'll be nice, a little bit of a
Me,
different
wine
feel.
and what else?
So they're gonna focus on high-end wine and then what
So
they
you leasing this
accessorize
to
with.
someone else?
Correct. Yeah, Adam Dunn, who owns the Pheasant, and his wife.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, cool.
They're super. You should have been to the meeting that supported them. It was fabulous.
Hmm.
They had 6 or 7 people in support and
Oh, nice.
all the neighbors and butters were really, really for the change. So it's great.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
And so the new sign that is on 6A is going to be a light colored background.
Yep.
The signage that will be proposed for the store itself is a reversed out, a darker background with,
Let me just pull it up. I have it in front of me. 1 second.
They're all
Yeah.
white, aren't they?
So they show, yeah, the building sign is more in keeping with the theme that they're doing, the feeling of the building inside. And then the lighter color on Willow and 6A we're just trying to make it a little easier to read and a little more historical. But the other one reflects the branding that they're doing.
It's blue. It looks like
Yeah, it's a darker blue. It's clearly,
like green on this, but. it's
yeah,
really
it's a
blue.
darker blue. It's really nice.
so there will be 2 joint signs, one on Willow, one on 6A, and
Correct.
then the Dunn and Son sign on the barn itself. Is that-
Correct. And then we're just going to redo the Just Pick sign. It's in red now. It'll be a white background. So it'll just be a little freshened.
I like it.
I move to approve.
Second.
Second. Whoop, go ahead.
Well, second.
Thank you very much.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Great. Thank you, guys.
Welcome.
Again, we'll ask you to sign this. That you,
My life away.
it's just, you're gonna do it as planned.
Any way you like.
When do you plan to open the wine shop?
Oh, cool.
Wow.
We've been working at it.
Oh, yeah.
It really looks nice.
I noticed the.
Discounts offered to Old Kings Highway members? I changed my vote.
So, oh my God, why? You guys, have you been to Chatham? So like in Chatham, they have white lines where you can park and cross hatches where you can't park. Why can't we do that here?
Before this ever happened, I came to a select and I said, look, this is a problem, we should fix it. And I tried to,
So what I don't understand is why certain shops allow parking in front of them and others like
because this,
Lighthouse Keeper's
So
Pantry
there's-
doesn't.
the town is blaming the state now.
It's because of the driveways, you can't be too close for cars coming out?
No, it's more complex. So right in front of my building, the previous owners took out the sidewalk. So
Right.
there's. so
They're
it
putting
looks
that
like just putting that, there's the patio,
patio.
but beyond the patio, it's flat.
Yeah, right.
So that flat area.
And it
should
looks like it
be
was
in-
made specifically for parking.
Should be a.
Yeah, it's like
sidewalk.
cobblestone, isn't
That's
it?
what it should
It should be
But
what,
now
sorry?
there are 3 no parking here
be.
signs.
15, no parking.
So wait, when you say that pavement should be what?
That pavement should be a sidewalk. The pavement that they put down should be an elevated
So who put the
sidewalk.
pavement down? The prior owner?
Prior owners.
Okay. Why didn't it so wide?
So.
It's one of the fish bakery.
Happy Fish, but I don't know why she made it so wide.
That is the depth of Route 6A. And if you measure.
Oh, with the
I'm
easement they
sure
have?
she went right to the edge of where 6A is. So that's all state, technically state road she paved over, and the berm she put in at the beginning of the actual property. So there's that, and then there's certainly visibility turning. And then there was a lot of traffic. We generated a lot of excitement, so there was.
Guys are
that.
doing really well.
Yeah.
It's going well, yeah. So we'll bring it back up again, for sure. Not over.
Good.
But
Hey,
thank you,
Greg.
guys.
Would it be totally inappropriate if I asked you to sign my nomination papers for the board?
That's a man.
Did you sign it?
Come this way yet.
Grabbed it as soon as she came in. We grabbed her as soon as she came in. Or, yeah.
Just you, I was by your house today.
Thanks. All right, have a great rest of the
Okay, you
night.
too.
Thank you.
Right.
I didn't want to ask him at that point to put a new tree in.
A new tree.
They took the tree out.
Good.
The fish people put
Doesn't look
in
like the guy that didn't show last time is here again this time.
a
Unless they're on
$15,000 tree.
online. Who's online? Greta from Sunrun, and who's the second one? I can't,
Oh, well.
Carrie something?
So it's the same owner? Same owner as the new Happy Fish? I mean,
Yeah,
whatever we
yes,
call it now.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Greg Bilzikian.
Bilzikian.
Greg Bilzikian.
He looked
He's
different. He looked
partners
like
with
he put
Kelly.
on weight.
He did?
His face looked wider.
Kelly and Greg are partners. He's, I think, she's running the show and he's like the financial guy for my housekeeper's property.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that as he makes more money now, have enough to put a new tree in.
Put in what?
Put a new tree in.
New tree?
What happened is
In front
there
of
was
the
a
building?
tree in front of the bakery,
Oh,
and it was not long for this world because it was dying, and so they asked to take it out. And we approved.
they had to get permission to remove the tree?
Yeah.
Even though it was dying?
Yeah,
Wow.
because it's you can nurse them in, cut some branches off or whatever, work on it. And they put in a purple big beech tree. It's like $18,000. The thing was about 15 foot tall
Wow.
as a new tree. So that was great. Then when they sold, I guess they gave a lower price by taking the tree with them.
They took the tree with them?
But went someplace.
I don't remember that. So the Happy Fish planted a tree and then they took it away? I don't remember any of that. Wow.
So I brought it up when Greg came in concerning, what was it?
Chicken coop.
The chicken coop, yeah. And he was aware that we would be unhappy about it, but I brought it up to let him know that, yeah, we are concerned with it. I think I'd bring it up another time when we can push him. Get it put back.
So this one has been withdrawn.
Yes.
Final one. Is there anyone here on the?
Greta's here from Sunrun.
I'm sorry?
Greta is here from Sunrun. We're actually going to withdraw this application. I think the homeowners are going to go with another solar company.
Okay, so that's the 26 Stony Hill?
Correct.
Okay.
We're
And
going to
you're
withdraw.
involved with 87 Stratford Lane?
What's that?
Are you involved with the 87 Stratford Lane?
Not that I'm aware of.
Trinity.
Okay, well, a lot of these seem to have multiple names on them.
Is anyone here from?
Is there anyone here from Trinity or Charlotte Collins?
Well, I guess we should bring out
Untable it.
on table
Oh,
both of them.
Move
Both
to,
of them?
well, the first one, she just
We'll
withdrew the
accept the
first one.
withdrawal.
Oh.
All right, I move to untable 22-A100 and 22-A116.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
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 Okay, now with respect to 22A100, as stated just now by Greta, they want to withdraw that application. And at some future date, the 26 Stony Hill Drive may come back. We'll see. Okay, so
So I'll move to accept the withdrawal of 22-A100.
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 So, good. All right, the next one is to install 18 solar panels on the rear roof at 87 Stratford Lane. We had started to look at this at the last meeting and had some questions about it. Charlotte Collins is the owner. Trinity Solar is the agent. And Trinity Solar, are they here?
It doesn't look like it.
I don't think so.
There's a name up there,
This is, I can't read, Carrie Mello?
Barry.
Hi, Carrie, who are you with?
Hi, sorry, I just had to figure out how to unmute. I'm with Trinity Solar.
Oh, you are? Okay,
Yeah.
great. Perfect. Thank you.
I think the question that came up last time was concerned with the fact that you get somewhat of a view of these since they're up on a hill and visible from 6A, actually. And not very much because they're laying flat on the roof. So you're looking at an angle at the edge of them.
So I noticed that there's a house on Canterbury, which it's on the corner, right? This house in the corner of Canterbury. There's a house on Canterbury. The next house up on Canterbury actually has solar panels on the front roof that are completely visible from Canterbury. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not.
Yeah. Yeah. So this wouldn't be
This would be less visible than that.
very, very much better.
Yeah, the trees that obscure that roof are deciduous trees.
Right. But during a good part of the year, they help obstruct it,
Mhm.
and they're certainly growing. And they've moved them away from the edge of the roof. So I think you might get some shading from trees closer to the road.
So I appreciate the effort to relocate the panels a little bit more to the left as you're facing the rear of the house. We have two illustrations. One looks like the panels are way over to the left and the other one looks to be not as much. I'm looking at
All right.
the one that has the raised garden in it. The panels are really far to the left, and on the one that looks like an aerial shot. They're not quite so far.
But I think it still is the same, Rosemary, because if you look at the one with the, not the one with the, this one, just to the left of the solar panels is the roof of a dormer that it's hard to make out in the picture,
see.
but I see where the shadow is from the dormer.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's actually closer than what you think.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
These are flat black. The QP Duo Black. Are they 400 watt?
Yes, yes, sir.
How would you characterize the color of the roof?
Generally the roof itself, let me look here. The roof itself looks to be a browner color.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a relatively new roof, if I recall correctly. This house was redone just a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What thinks she, Bob?
I'm conflicted about this application. I think an argument could be made that it's minimally visible from 6A. However, we are talking about 6A. And it's too bad that the panels are not strongly contrasting color than the roof, but definitely a contrasting color from the roof. So, and I am concerned about when the leaves fall off the trees. So I had sort of made up my mind that I was going to abstain tonight because I really am truly conflicted about the application.
This type of, I've seen these on houses, and they tend to not blend in. They don't stand out. You know, there's no shine on them. The texture overall, the whole width and height of the panel is very even, and so they don't jump at you. And so it's the idea that if you're walking down the street or driving down the street, are they going to jump at you, or do you have to look for them?
Mm-hmm.
In spite of the color of the roof.
Yeah, even though the roof is a lighter color,
Mm-hmm.
then we would prefer that there was a darker color roof.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes in the future, it may tend up to be a darker roof when it needs to be shingled again. But,
Do you guys know how that other house in Canterbury got the solar panels in the front? Was that approved, or they just put them up?
No, they were approved, but one of the things that happened there is they recently changed them. They took them off and put new shingles on the roof. They should have done that before they put them down in the first place. They were put in at least 5 years ago, and recently I drove down the road and I saw them gone. And I said, "What's going on here?" I saw they were tearing the shingles off. And then I went back a month later and they were reinstalled, but they were reinstalled in a way that they stood out more.
Interesting.
Originally.
But why was that approved to be in the front?
Because there were a couple of people on the committee that didn't care what went on. If it wasn't on 6A, they would let it go. And then there was another fellow who was very pro solar energy. And
Well, does it sort of set a precedent for that neighborhood, that the fact that they're on the front of the house?
yeah,
No? You saying no, Bob?
We're not governed by precedent.
Okay.
You don't need to worry about precedent.
But there was another one recently, just the next street up, I think on a corner lot, where it was it was on the back of the house, but if you went up the street, there were 3 other houses on that cul-de-sac that they would see these solar panels. And I think we ended up approving that. But they would be very visible if you go up the side street.
But there were no abutters that were opposed on that one.
Right.
And there are no abutters that are opposed to this one, right? Haven't heard from anybody.
Nobody on TV.
Yeah.
So I would, if someone wants to, motion to approve or disapprove. Motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Aye. I drove by again today.
It's a- I abstained
You did?
on the other one.
Yes, I know. I'm aware of
You
that.
notice I didn't sign it.
I'm aware of that. We're safe and so am I.
It's gonna look nice, but I just think it changes the character. Like going to all these windows. My present house, the old house, had all casement and awning. And this one, half of them are double hung, most of them double hung, including the garage, the upstairs, and the bedrooms upstairs, and so on. And then on the south side, they're larger casement windows so that they bring in more sun for solar energy during the cold weather. So, we have a business, the minutes from last meeting. I noticed there were comments that came in, and I assume they're fixed,
Yes.
and it's looking good.
I have a question. I wasn't going to even read the minutes because I wasn't here last time, but I'd like to ask a question because I decided to read them. In the comments that were made with regard to the exemption question, there was a reference made to the Association to Preserve Cape Cod.
Yeah.
And one of our committee members pointed out that they thought that the exemption, the new exemption rule doesn't go far enough. So I'm not familiar with the Association to Preserve Cape Cod and what their mission is exactly.
Yeah, right. You wouldn't expect them.
You wouldn't
be
expect
coming
that
to that
with that
meeting.
name.
No, I was surprised too, because I remember years ago when there was a big desire to put wind turbines in Nantucket Sound. And the group to preserve Cape Cod was strongly opposed to that, as I was
Oh,
too.
they were on the right side of that issue. It's really coming to light that those turbines are
Right, but
a
this,
big problem.
this fellow who came to our meeting was, just, he really should have been on the climate group. There's a climate group for the world and for the United States and Massachusetts and Cape Cod, Yarmouth. He should be in that group.
So, but he represented himself as presenting the opinion of the Association to Preserve Cape Cod. Okay, well, my only final point to make with regard to that is there are other organizations with very similar names, so there's opportunities for confusion there. I'm thinking of Protect Our Past specifically.
Right.
So it's just
Wetlands and
all kinds of different organizations. Yeah. So that's just an observation. That's all.
so we'll take a vote on the minutes.
Yeah, I move to approve the minutes from the October 12th meeting.
Oh, right. I second.
All in favor of approval on the
Aye.
minutes? Aye. 3 ayes.
Abstain.
So let me just tell you, I mentioned it when Rose came in. I got served papers this morning to appear in court Friday for what happened was someone on the house number is, I think, 1525 INS Road, which is, at the intersection on Route 6A, there's a traffic light there. You go down the hill. Yeah. If you make a left turn, that's called Hyannis Road, because it goes from Barnstable to Hyannis.
Yeah, it turns into
And it
Finney's.
turns into Finney's Road. Yeah. And there's a house there that was a Sears Roebuck 1930s kind of house. You could buy, like a kit.
Yeah, the catalog houses. Yeah, those are great.
And it was very characteristic of those houses. And so it was a nice house. But they wanted to put an addition onto it, which would make it like L-shaped. And the homeowner got it approved with the Barnstable Committee. And then a woman down the street a little appealed it. And so it came before the commission, and we supported the Barnstable decision. So she took it up to court now. So I'll have to go in and be a witness. And more stress.
Now, when it goes to court, is there a fee for that? I mean, does the woman
I
who
get
appealed it-
$10.
But do people
Oh,
who-
well, as long as you got your
does the
10.
woman- Does the woman who appealed it have to pay a fee
Oh,
to the
yeah.
court?
Yeah. And all the attorney fees too, which they had, when they came before the commission, there was an attorney for the homeowner, an attorney for the neighbor who was pushing for this. And so they're both going to have
Attorney's fees.
attorney fees.
So what's her issue? Is she a preservationist? What is?
No, she just didn't like the looks of it.
Oh.
It was too big.
No.
I used to work right up the street from that.
Okay.
So, yeah, and the house actually is a lot of trees, tall trees, old trees. The house-
Which house is it, Richard?
Well, it's the only one that looks like a kid house.
So if you're coming down 6A from Yarmouth Port, you're at the stoplight and Hyannis is across, is it on the left side? Must be the left side.
It's on the right side as you're
Right
going
side.
toward Hyannis.
Oh, toward Hyannis. So
there's
if
a
you take a
couple of-
left on Hyannis Road on the right-hand corner?
Yeah, as you're going from 6A to Hyannis,
Okay.
there's a couple of roads that go off on the left as forks. And the
Is this
road,
just right on the corner of 6A and Hyannis? Or further
no,
up?
it's not,
Oh, okay.
it's not a corner house,
Okay.
but it's near that corner where a fork goes off.
Oh, where it splits
Yeah.
between Old Hyannis Road and Finney's, I think.
know.
Yeah,
They changed names there or
I
something.
think so.
But there's a bend in the road
Yeah.
and then it goes off. It's close to that, but it's, as I say, kind of embedded in the trees because the trees are 50 years old or more. And
They were part of the kit.
no, but they probably was installed then, you know, I just imagine they lived there before. But they're nice big trees. So the house itself is not very visible from the road. It's only like 50 feet back off the road and it's on a knoll. So that'll be Friday. Hopefully not
Good
all
luck.
day and not continuing into many other days.
Don't go crazy with that $10. Go across the street to the market and,
Can't
Maybe a
even,
coffee at Nirvana.
it takes about a gallon of gas to drive down there and back.
There you go.
It's almost $10.
On that note, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Interesting started.